How's it, punters? Welcome back to the Best Sports Betting Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on soccer football. There's a double Premier League week coming up. We're going to chat about some of the recent Premier League and UEFA Champions League results from last week and the weekend, and then we're going to have a quick look at the Saudi GP at the end. But before we get there, I'm joined by Simon. Simon, last week we had Black Friday. What did you make of the betting specials that were on offer?
Well, look, I was quite chuffed that everyone, not everyone, but a lot of the bookmakers did finally come to the party. But it was a bit disappointing that, sort of only by Wednesday or Thursday, a lot of these offers were actually consolidated, which I don't think really gives enough time for punters to have a proper shop around and actually see what offers they want to take. So, I think that as I said, it's great. I think, to be honest, I think slightly more bookmakers got involved than last
Yeah.
year. But it would be nice if these offers came out a little earlier, just to give punters a bit more time to kind of suss out where they want to put their money.
Yeah, because I mean, the offers that come out earlier, the ones, if you have an account there, they're probably the ones you're going to take unless something better comes out.
Yeah.
And I saw some pretty good offers coming through from like Bet Exchange and Marshalls and that, like, I think it was on Thursday or on the Friday itself. And I'm just like, well, it's a little bit too late to be releasing these.
Yeah.
But other than that, the offers on for punters weren't that great, to be honest. Lots of kind of new customer offers.
Yeah, lots of new customer offers. I mean, WSB did come up with a very big deposit match, which is nice. I mean, that was a
20% though. I mean,
20, yeah, not a huge, but up to 100 is decent. But then again, I mean, I think that to be honest, I think that sort of prices out a lot of punters. To be honest, I don't think
prices
there are
are
many.
pretty much, I think, like 99% of punters.
Exactly. I mean, how many people can really afford to take full advantage of that?
Yeah, what you got to
Yeah,
deposit like 500k or something.
yeah, exactly.
And even then you're going to be stuck with wagering for like years. I mean, I don't think you'll be able to get much big bets on WSB.
That's right.
So anyway, but yeah, I mean, some other decent offers, some decent new deposit offers, but I'd like to see more like deposit offers for existing customers. I mean, you don't get any other time of the year where you're going to get 100% deposit match, even if it's like up to 500 rand or something.
Yeah.
Slap the wagering on there, and just give the guys, reward the punters.
Yes.
I just yeah,
Absolutely.
it's mind-boggling that we see some of these really terrible offers. I mean, Hollywood bets, they always do that 15%, so you can't really complain about that. But these the other bookmakers, I just expected a bit more from. I don't know if you checked out the sporting bet Lucky Wheel.
Yes, I did. I did have a spin on that, and I see you got one spin, and then if you wagered another 100 rand at evens, you got another spin. So
Yeah,
I didn't get anything with my spin, but I
it
suppose
was it
what
was
he was.
from I think it was from Wednesday that you could spin, and I spun each day, and I got nothing on the first day, nothing on the second day, and I think on Black Friday itself, I got like an odds boost or something like that,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
I really wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
It's yeah, but yeah, a bit of a disappointing Black Friday on that end. But lots of bookmakers eventually coming to the party. Hopefully, we can see some better offers coming up next year. I know it's a long way away, but yeah, going on to some of the football. Let's start off with the Champions League. Before we get into the Premier
Mm.
League, the Champions League, I mean, kind of went as expected. Not too many upsets. There was good wins for City over PSG. That was a somewhat entertaining match, and then a big win for Chelsea over Juventus, 4-0 there.
Yeah, that was an absolute. I mean, absolutely annihilated them. I actually watched a bit. The only game that I actually managed to watch on the Tuesday was United's game.
Ah, Villarreal, yeah.
Yeah, and that I must say, short was started really slowly. And it's I actually turned off at about the 60th minute because I just thought, oh, there's definitely a draw on the cards here. No one's going to
Same.
score a goal. But it turned out that Ronaldo kind of spurred the game into life, and then Sancho also scored a late goal, so it ended up 2-0 to United. So not a bad result in the end.
Yeah, I
But
also turned off like three-quarters of the way into that one, expecting a draw, and then I just saw the notifications coming through
yeah,
that they
it
won.
just
I was
looked
like,
that
what?
was just
Okay.
absolutely dead on to be a nil-nil draw. But I think an interesting sort of outcome from this week is Barcelona drawing to Benfica now means that they're under threat for qualifying to the knockout stages. So if Benfica beats Dinamo Kiev, which they should, and Barca lose away to Bayern, which they
They
also
should.
probably will, then Barca lose out on the knockout stages of the Champions League, and I can't remember the last time that happened.
Yeah, Barca have it's just been a nightmare season for them. Last couple of years
Yeah.
haven't been great. They're just in the steady decline. But yeah. Then on Wednesday, there were also a couple of games. Not much to talk about there. Interesting was that AC Milan beat Atletico away from
Mm,
home. Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean that's another interesting one from a group perspective because that actually breaks that group wide open. I mean, Liverpool have the maximum points; they've won 5 out of 5. They've got 15 points right at the top. But AC Milan, Porto, and Atletico are well, I think there's two of them have got five
Heck
points,
of
and
a
one of them
group,
have got
eh?
4 points. Yeah, so they've all now got a good chance of taking that second spot. So that should be quite an interesting permutation as we go into in 2 weeks' time when we play the last round of the um, of the preliminary stages and see who goes through there with Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can. Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll continue to entertain. Should be a cracking kind of end to that group.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really pick a winner there. Probably going to be someone like Atletico, but I haven't checked the fixtures yet. Then let's jump over to the Premier League, Simon. Not too many upsets of the weekend. I really fancied. I fancied Arsenal against Newcastle. Fancied them on the
Yeah.
-1.5 handicap. That came in very comfortably. It was my bet of the week. I think I mentioned it a few times. Such a
Yeah.
solid strike there that was just easy money.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, as we talked about yesterday, I mean, for some reason, I mean, historically, Newcastle just always struggle, especially away when they play Arsenal. And yeah, it's really looking a bit dire for Newcastle. I actually
Mm.
heard some pundits talking on SuperSport at some point over the weekend, saying that no team has had 6 points after this point at this point in the season and avoided relegation.
Yeah, they're getting relegated. I don't see it not happening.
But if you look at the odds on Betway, they're 7 to 10. So look, the bookmakers say that it's got a better chance of happening than not happening. But it's quite interesting. I mean, obviously they're banking on the fact that there will be some change in
Mm.
January and new players will be bought. But they're saying, the bookmakers are basically, saying that there's still obviously a better chance, even with all the new life in the club and the new management and so on, that they won't quite get there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think
Yeah.
that picture could change quite quickly.
Yes. The next two matches are crucial, and we'll get into that in the
Mm,
preview section. But then looking at the other results, Liverpool picking up a very comfortable win against Southampton, 4-0 there.
yeah.
Just strolled out and smashed them. Surprisingly enough, Aston Villa beat Crystal Palace. I think that was a kind of upset for me.
Mm,
Not a big one to talk about. And then Norwich managing a draw against Wolves, putting Newcastle at the bottom of the table.
yeah.
And then on Sunday we had Brentford beating Everton. Everton looking pretty bad at the moment.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was. It was. I didn't like it as much as my other bet, which we'll get to. But that was. I was on Everton there on the draw no bet. That was my pick. So I think that they're a little bit. I think I underestimated how much of a slump the Toffees are
Mm.
actually in. It's they really are in big trouble.
And Leicester beating Watford, City picking up a 2-1 win over West Ham. And then the big match of the weekend was Chelsea versus Man United, where you told me you popped a message saying you were on Chelsea to win and both teams to score. Was cracking odds there. I don't know how they
Yeah,
didn't
well, I
beat. I
was.
didn't win that game.
Yeah, well, I actually had. I mean, I tipped up both teams to score, which came in that in that match, which was about odds of 1.97, which was quite nice. But actually, just for a cheeky double, I had Leicester City to beat Watford and both teams to score in a double with Chelsea to beat United, both teams to score. And I mean, obviously, if you watch that game, you'll know that, well, the Leicester one came in and the Chelsea one was, I mean, how it didn't happen with
Yeah,
24 attempts on goal to United's
gosh,
three is just,
one shot on target, one goal or something.
yeah.
Eh?
I must say that game, I think Paul Scholes hit the nail on the head, in the studio. And I think he's quite a good pundit. Honestly, he looks such a grumpy face. But anyway, he does talk some sense. And I think he made such a good observation. And I think he sort of said this at halftime and after the match. And it was, that it's very well that United, sort of scraped the points against like log leaders. But if they have to go out and to defend for their lives every time they play a top team, they'll never stand a chance of winning the league.
Yeah.
I mean, playing defensively and hoping to catch teams on the counter, it's just not a sustainable strategy in the long term. I mean, United could have very easily lost the game, obviously, and as I said, 24 shots to 3. So yeah, you got to give United credit for leaving the bridge with a point. But I mean, I'm not exactly inspired with that performance.
Yeah, they've appointed a new manager now. I'm pretty sure he's an interim manager. His name escapes me, but
Mm,
I think it's going to be. Yeah, it was until the end of the season, if I remember correctly. So they'll
yeah,
be on the hunt for a new manager, and I'm sure there's going to be quite a few guys out of jobs at the end of the season. So it
yeah,
shouldn't be too hard for them to pick someone up. Let's go to the upcoming. We've got a double game week this week. We've got games happening during the week and then games happening on the weekend. It's going to be pretty good for soccer punters.
Yeah.
Starting off tonight with Newcastle's the bottom battle of the bottom with Newcastle against Norwich. So yeah, I was reading some articles saying that Newcastle have to win their next two games to basically avoid relegation because they're playing against their kind of fellow relegation candidates. I think
Yeah.
they've got the home advantage. I'm not sure for the second fixture, but
Yeah.
Norwich they really should. I mean, gosh, this game like I'm not sure what to make of this. Newcastle should pick up a win here, but I mean, 1.98. It's a
Look, I
decent
mean,
price, but
look, both these teams, I think, couldn't be more out of touch with the rest of the league.
mm,
I think they really do stand apart. I mean, as I said earlier, I mean, yeah, I mean, to get to survive relegation here for Newcastle will be tricky, but this is the perfect opportunity to pick up points. That said, I mean, just because they need the points is to me not necessarily a reason to back them. I think that's quite an easy trap for punters to fall into. So I just don't know. For me, I'll definitely watch the game, but it's not one that I'm going to be betting.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if Newcastle's defense is just so bad at the moment. Even Norwich can score against it. So both teams have scored at 7 to 10. Looks somewhat attractive. I do
Hmm.
fancy Newcastle for a win here.
Yeah,
What's it, the first win of the season?
yeah.
So at 1.98, it's not bad. I mean, there's not much else going on tonight, so I'll probably have a punt on that just for interest's sake. I'll be watching that game. I mean, I'm not too interested in the other game tonight, which is Leeds against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I know that's one I'm not too interested. I think tomorrow the Merseyside derby will be something with watching there. I mean, I must say I can't ever recall seeing odds quite so short for for an away team in this clash.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
Liverpool against Everton, and they are
Everton
1.41 over on
away
Betway.
from home.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, Everton are in dreadful form, but that's quite something. I mean, look, I can't back Liverpool at those odds, but I would be very careful about sort of sticking them in an acca or something because it is a big derby game, and you just never know. I just that to me is that price is for a fixture which could easily just be a little bit of a stumble. I would be careful about backing Liverpool there, but I can't argue with those odds at the same time.
yeah. I mean, I'm leaning Liverpool comfortable win there, but yeah, that's odds at like 1.5. I might get involved. It being a derby game, it's just a little bit tricky as you mentioned. Then we have what else? What else is of interest? We've got Spurs taking on Brentford. Spurs game over the weekend was postponed. It's actually quite fancy them at 1.63. Brentford have been hot and cold, but Spurs are going to have that extra bit of rest.
Mm.
So I do fancy them for a win there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a game I haven't really looked closely at. I think one that did catch my eye on the also on Wednesday was West Ham Brighton, and I just think I mean I think it's worth looking at West Ham here. I mean they've actually
Mm.
won their last four home games, and that's included victories over Liverpool, City, and Spurs. Which is really not a bad home record in their last little while. So look, I think Brighton are always tough to break down, but their away record pales in comparison to what they can get done at home. So I think West Ham looks a decent bet at around evens.
Yeah, it's actually very tempting there at 2.02. I think I'll probably take some of that as well. I think that's a solid bet. Then we have a big one on Thursday. Is it Thursday night? Or is it Wednesday? It's Thursday night. It's
Thursday.
Manchester United against Arsenal. Pretty interesting matchup here. Arsenal have been playing pretty well. As I've been saying, they struggle against the bigger teams. But do you consider United to be a bigger team, or was it a team that's just going to be around Arsenal, which it honestly is at the moment?
I think that United are going to stick to last week's game plan. And that is why I actually quite fancy under 2.5 goals here. I think United are a little bit short in the odds. I would expect them to be about 2.15, so 23 to 20, and they're about even or just over even. So I'm not backing United there, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to come on firing. I think they're going to stick to last week's game plan, try to absorb some of the pressure. They'll probably open up a little earlier than they did against Chelsea. But I see a game it'll probably end, 0-0 at halftime, and then in the second half produce a goal or two, from either side. So I think under 2.5 goals actually looks a very nice bet to me, and that's at odds of 2.07.
I quite fancy Arsenal here on the draw no bet, which you're getting 2.6 on for the draw no bet. The double chance, you're getting 1.78. I actually quite like that as well. I think this game's probably going to be a draw, which is why I'm looking at that market. Like Arsenal, they're in decent form. United on dire straits. It's gonna, yeah, as you said, it's gonna be a tactical game. But I just don't see Arsenal losing this one to United. I know that United have the home advantage, but it's two sides on opposite trajectories at the moment.
Yeah, I think this should be a good one to watch, and I think look, a lot of people would have taken some positives from United's display against Chelsea, but I'm not sold on it.
No,
but I just think
they were dominated. Let's
they were totally dominated, and also I just think that I think they will stick to last week's game plan and just try and see where it'll take them. But yeah, I must say I think that it's under 2.5 goals looks to me. I'd rather go with a goal bet than betting on Arsenal here.
Okay, so under 2.5 is actually pretty well priced at 2.07. So one to take into consideration. Then we're going to jump over to the second part of the game week. Obviously, matches here there's a lot to consider with the matches taking place during the week. So we're going to kind of glaze over that a little bit and just look at the fixtures for themselves. We've got an interesting one with West Ham versus Chelsea. That could be a potential slip up for Chelsea. A potential for a kind of shock.
I think it certainly looks like the pick of the bunch, but I just like to bet against Chelsea at the moment. To me, it just seems like at any odds a little bit of a recipe for disaster. I think that West Ham definitely have a shot there, but I can't bring myself to pull the trigger against them.
Just looking at the odds, West Ham are 4.4, so I think there's a lot of value in looking at maybe a double chance or something like that. You're getting even money on a double chance.
Yeah,
which is not bad. Like I don't give West Ham. I think Chelsea, as you said, probably win that game, but I think it's a potential slip up, especially with a short game week. That can affect things.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at. I haven't looked at the odds yet, but you could look at something like maybe if you want a bit of a value pick, Chelsea to win by exactly one goal.
Yeah, like a 2-1 scoreline or something like that.
Yeah, so instead of backing the correct score, which is obviously much riskier, maybe Chelsea to win by exactly one goal might be one to look at.
And then we have Liverpool taking on Wolves, and Liverpool are 1.5 against Wolves. It should be a comfortable win for Liverpool, kind of regardless of what happens against Everton.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I couldn't agree more.
Then Newcastle taking on Burnley. It's another must-win match for Newcastle. Gosh. I don't know. I think Burnley could probably pick up a result there. The odds are quite nice. I'm not going to be backing that game, though. I'd rather back Newcastle to beat Norwich than them to beat Burnley.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's also you don't want to think too far ahead with teams in this kind of dire situation, because their performance against Burnley might very much depend on what happens against Norwich.
Yeah. I mean, if they pick up a big win against Norwich, then I'd probably look at backing them for Burnley, because then it'd be a huge confidence boost.
It will, absolutely.
Then we have Watford taking on City. City very short at 1.25. That should be a foregone conclusion there. I don't see Watford picking up a result. Then on Sunday, we've got Leeds Brentford. Not interested there. Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. Man United are 1.58 to beat Crystal Palace. It's a little short.
Yeah, I think so too. Look, I'm not rushing to back Palace, but I think it is short. I must say one other bet though that I like in the second game week, or the second half of the game week, should I say, is actually Arsenal against Everton, and I think I'll happily back them at 2.23 there, which is what they're available on Betway, because I think it's just because punters really haven't started thinking that far ahead, and I think money will surely come for Arsenal there. And I think these odds are much bigger than they're going to be. I think that'll be much closer to about even money by the time the match actually kicks off. So I wouldn't read too much into Liverpool, sweeping aside Arsenal. I mean, they're going to beat most teams this season.
Yeah.
And I think they should handle Everton with ease. So I think 2.23 is actually quite a nice price on Arsenal there.
Yeah, it's not a bad price. I also fancy them there, but I am keen to see what happens against United first.
Sure.
If they can pick up a result there, or how they look and what happens on
Yeah.
the day. But I do like that price for them
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean,
there
look,
this week.
if can you imagine, even if Arsenal manage a draw, I imagine, against United, which is almost the expected result, I could see that price immediately going to
Yeah,
2.05 or 2.10,
yeah.
2.1. And if they get a win, that's going to be like 1.95. So you could by getting in early here with Arsenal, get a nice price and beat the market.
I think I'm going to take that one as well. It's a couple of bets that I'll strike out for the midweek fixtures in the weekend. And then Simon, we have the Saudi GP coming up. I saw there was some nice specials over on was it Palace Bet? They had a nice boost on Max Verstappen to
Uh-huh.
win the GP. I think it was like 7.0 or something like that for that race. Let me
Oh,
have a quick look while you chat
yeah.
about the
Well, I've got quite a rant about this, I must say, and it's yeah, I sort of go a little bit all over the place. I think I will, but it's yeah. I mean, it's obviously the F1 season is kind of coming down to this drivers' championship race between Max and Hamilton, and um, it's interesting because look, a while ago I fancied Max on the outright there, and he was nearly even money, even though he was very very close to winning the championship. If he'd got a win, it would have been pretty much a given. Um, but it's now at a point where obviously they're not neck and neck anymore, or they are neck and neck. But there's a lot of questions I think you've got to ask about Red Bull now, and there's a few things going on, and one of them is to do with the rear wing on the Mercedes car, which seems to be pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable. And so the FIA have been looking at it, and if you can simply look at the car, and you'll see that, look at the back of the Mercedes car, the rear wing dips in the middle. And so they've apparently done all the tests that they normally do, and they've said that it's fine, it's acceptable for driving, but they're basically getting 7 kilometers an hour extra on the straights over Red Bull, and this is only since the last 4 weeks or three races. So it's a real bummer, I think, for Red Bull, because the timing couldn't really be worse.
yeah.
And obviously it's terrible for my outright bets on Verstappen. And if you look at the odds for the next race, it's clearly built into the price. I mean, no doubt Mercedes have been literally faster in every way over the last couple of races. And it's I think the Red Bull mechanics will try and work some miracle just to get a tiny bit more out of the Red Bull car. But that rear wing of the Mercedes, whatever they've done to it, it's definitely. I mean, they've done all the tests. You can see the car is basically going 7 kilometers per hour faster on the straights, which is a big difference. So yeah, I mean, looking at Saudi, I mean, for me, it's just about riding out my bets and hoping for the best. I think that those odds might look great on Verstappen, but they're probably where they should be. They might, and the price on Hamilton looks short, but it's probably about right. Um, yeah, so I mean, looking at the constructors championship, which is obviously the other sort of main, championship race. Um, Valtteri Bottas has pretty much been consistently beating Perez, which means that Mercedes have kind of got that one pretty much in the bag already.
Yeah.
So those that know, the constructor championship, takes into account the accumulated points of both drivers, not just
Yeah.
one. So that one, I mean, that kind of also looks. I mean, that's probably more of a certainty at this point, even than Verstappen, or than Hamilton beating Verstappen. So yeah, so that's kind of done and dusted as well. So it's what could have culminated into quite an exciting finish. Looks like it's not going to be. Look, it could still be. There's still two races, but I must say I'm very worried about this rear wing advantage, whether it's fair or not. I don't really know yet, but that Mercedes have, and I think could spell very bad news for Red Bull. So we'll see what happens.
So the just spoiler is giving them the edge.
Exactly. That's what it seems like. And they do all these weight tests and so on. And they said, okay, well, it seems to be, within the requirements and so on. But like, who knows? Like, the FIA changed the rules like midweek, and they do crazy things. So who knows? They might give Mercedes some penalty or something before the weekend starts. Even who knows? They change the rules all the time. So yeah, I think that's probably my only hope, unless Hamilton has like a terrible race
It's
and
unlikely.
Verstappen just they work some miracle in the shop, the mechanics, and I don't know, but it doesn't look good for me. But I'm hoping it's going to be a good race regardless.
But that bet boost I was talking about over on Palace Bet is on Verstappen, and it's from 3.25 to 4.35. So it's actually quite a decent little boost there.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
bad if you want to be backing Verstappen over the weekend. But
Yeah.
yeah, that about wraps it up. What's your best bet for this week? Premier League, GP. What are you leaning?
I think I must say I like West Ham quite a lot. I think West Ham at home, and I can't even remember who they're playing now for some reason.
West Ham.
Um,
Wait,
it,
yeah, the double game week is just throwing everything out of whack. They're playing
Yeah,
Brighton.
Brighton, yes. So not the game against Chelsea. The first game against Brighton at evens. I think it looks a good price. As I said, they've really. I mean, they've beaten Liverpool, City, and Spurs at home in the last three home games, which is quite impressive. And I think that very fair odds on them. And I also like Arsenal in that second game week. Second half of the game week against away to Everton, but I prefer the West Ham. I prefer the West Ham at home bet.
Okay.
That would probably be my bet of the weekend. Yeah.
I like Arsenal against United. I think it's a good time to fade United. I think Arsenal will pick up a result here. So the double chance Arsenal draw at 1.78 is going to be my bet of the week. Going for a bit of an upset, if that makes sense. I don't think the price is right on United here. I think it should be a bit more than what it is. Although Arsenal can't necessarily always be trusted on the road.
Yeah.
I think it's a good spot for Arsenal to
Sure.
get one over one of their rivals. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hopefully, we can pick up some wins over the weekend. It's going to be an interesting week. Lot of footy action for us to watch. Great start to December, and hopefully there are some winners out there. Guys, thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.